back from the break. This is still Women in Business. Doreen Kemcha on Smart 24 TV, and I'm here with the Chief Steward, Femfort, Penny. Penny, you are such a ball of fire. You know what? I love to know.
Yeah.
You know, the rationale behind the feminist movement. I love to know, and also find out, okay, fine, what's its implication on the day-to-day woman that I meet. So we were talking about just before the break about, you know, some of these gender roles and everything, but you maintain that they're fluid, right? And I think this is partly at the back of our mind. This is how it used to be, because at the end of the day, the woman, yes, had a role to play in the family, but as well the man could as well come in and cook, or call in someone else to come in and cook. I think in most cases, for example, they prepared during the bathing time, you know, during the time when the woman wasn't really able to take care of her domestic roles. They brought in a sister or an aunt or someone like that to help with that. Now this goes back especially with the mindset change. You are basically in that position as Femfort, where you and your team are able to come and tell every woman, every young girl that comes in here about these great powers that she has, to pursue whatever dream she has, to not conform to our society, right? I do have girls, young women that we get to meet who have just started up businesses, and they say they love being married. They love all this quote-unquote nonsense about being submissive. And I say quote-unquote because it's really a subjective idea, and you know, it depends. They love it, but they also want to be able to be financially independent, have their own this and that, blah blah blah. What they seem to lack within that gap is how to negotiate, because this is a system where both genders must work together. I believe, I come from that standpoint. They must be able to work together and not necessarily clash and conflict every time. So during your mentorship, as when you are taking on your mentorship, or when you are helping the young girls go through this life, what are you saying?
So one, let me first debunk 3 myths that I had in your question, that I think it's clear for me that even the people watching us probably have these misconceptions. So one, I mentioned I'm a feminist. I am not apologetic about that. 2, I don't hate men. There's a difference between being a feminist and hating men. 3, just because I'm a feminist does not mean I don't believe in the institution of marriage. You mentioned something about they want to, you know, the girls want to, it's as if to presuppose that when you're a feminist, you don't believe marriages should thrive. No, please. If that's the path you want to take, please go ahead. I also want to debunk the myth around submission. Submission is not me kneeling down and kissing your feet and doing whatever it is you want. Submission is, I see you, I respect you, I honor you, and out of the abundance of my love for you, I am doing these things to you, for you. It's not about you. I'm not submitting to you because you're what? My husband, my father, my mother. No, I'm submitting to you because the love on the inside of me compels me to do things for you without you having to ask. It's not a requirement from society. I love you. When you look at your child and you say, I love this kid so much, I will buy this thing for them. That you're submitting your love to this child. So we misconceive these things and put our own insecurities and say, oh, if you don't bring me a cup of tea and kneel down before me, you're not submissive. If you're shouting like Penny on television, you're not submissive. You're supposed to sit home and be a housewife. You know, we don't understand. We don't understand. God created us to thrive. Now let me see if I remember my Bible school, because then my pastor will be very proud of me. Let me preach. Now in the gospel, according to the feminism that I believe, we were created to thrive. I don't think that the universe in all its wisdom and in all its energy put you on earth, Doreen, to be mediocre. I don't believe that. And so if if you believe that I was not brought here to be mediocre, anything that tries to put me back is an enemy of my progress, and it must be cut off. Whether it manifests in my parent, whether it manifests in my education, whether it manifests in my friends, I must cut it off, because by the time I die, I must die empty. Like everything that was deposited on the inside of me should have come out. I ask people usually that how do you want to feel about people in your presence? And that's how you should make them feel, right? That if I never get to meet you ever again, you will feel that, oh, I experienced Penny like this. There's never a time I meet people. I think anyone who's my friend out there and is watching will tell you, everybody in my life thinks they are my best friend. Everyone. Because when I'm with Doreen, you're my best friend right now. Like, let's see, there's no debate. We will talk, we will laugh, we will share everything. I'm giving you everything that I have in me at that time. Now, let me go back to addressing the issue that you asked. Because we confuse submission, we confuse marriage, we confuse all this. Also, marriage is not the ultimate. Some people don't want to get married. That's why they choose priesthood. That's why they go to the nunnery. That's why marriage is not for everyone. Not all of us were created to be married. So it's not a standard. You're not married, you're a failure. Excuse me. Take your path of marriage in peace. Settle, submit to your husband, love them. Leave people who don't want marriage alone. Okay. Let them thrive also in their not wanting marriage. Let them be at peace. Let them thrive. Yes. It's none of your business trying to want what you want for people to be what you want for them. So, yeah, marriage is a thing. No, all these things stress me, because young people hear these things and they begin to build insecurities around, oh, I'm 30 and I'm not married. Oh, I need to be... No. Maybe your path is business. Maybe for you, you were supposed to be a Bill Gates, right? You're supposed to be the most financially stable woman in the world, and you will finance governments, and you will finance, and marriage is not in your picture. It's okay, darling. Pursue that. That's who you are. Don't tie on things. So,
don't tie on.
We carry our, I mentioned at the beginning that also because I'm a feminist, the personal is very political, right? Yeah. I carry my personal manners into how I lead, how I live, how I conduct business, how I spend money. The way I am, if I'm a spendthrift, when I start a business, I will spend, and that will be it. If I have no discipline, even when I start a business, it will have no discipline. If I'm a bad person, when I start a business, I will still be a bad person, and it will be a bad business. I carry my personal manners into the things that I conduct. Now, as women in business, what characteristics do we cultivate for ourselves that we want to pass on? The same question I asked, how do I want to be perceived? When I wake up in the morning, I'm like, how do I want people to see Farmfort? Yeah. When someone walks in from the gate, what do I want them to feel about my business? What do I want them to see? Who do I want them to speak to? What do I want that person to say to them? When they leave, how are they feeling? How are they feeling? And once you work like that, as a woman in business, you're setting yourself up to succeed. Because then people will know that when I go to Doreen's business, I am made to feel important.
Please, I want you to stress that, because I think some of the relationships that women in business may be forged, they think it is out of the business, right? It is out of the business and not within the business.
Your first clients as a business holder are your friends.
I need you to stress that. Penny, I need you to stress that to the person watching, so that they can know, because I think the relationship is what retains the client.
A business in itself is a relationship, and we can't dissect those two. The same way a marriage is a relationship, a business is a relationship. If you wake up in the morning and you don't pray for your business or you don't have any rituals for your business, it will fail. If you don't feed your business breakfast, it will fail. If you don't invite people to see your business, you don't show it off. It's not on social media, money, my marriage is a secret, my business is a secret, it will fail.
Yeah.
So, your personal habits are transferable to your business, and that is how you work. As you build relationships with people, you're building relationships with your business, and as you build relationships with your business, the same people who you already have a connection with are the people who will do referrals for you for your business to thrive. They are not divorced. They feed into one another.
How do you present yourself? How do you present to the woman out there who is in business? What's the ideal actually? Let's not even. I know how much you hate the ideal concept.
There is no ideal.
Yes, it's not ideal. Okay. How is it best? What would you be looking at, especially in regards to presentation? How do you present yourself to your clients?
I think that one of all these things, like I said, business is a relationship, right? Business is a relationship. And once you understand that business is a relationship, as a young woman in business, as an older woman in business, as a person out there conducting any form of business, your first business is to school yourself. So, number one, the humility to stay learning.
At all times.
That I don't know it all. I don't know it all. This might be my idea, but I don't know. Someone can add value, and that person doesn't have to come in a suit with a briefcase. It could be the cleaner. It could be the border guy teaching me something about humility. It could be anyone. It could be a plant. It could be a movie. It could be something that's teaching me something about my business. And so, everywhere I am, every place I am in, what am I learning in this space? What are they teaching me? What am I teaching them? That's number one. Number two, priorities. Not everything, as in you don't go shooting stones at everything that stops you. Focus. Focus.
Okay.
What do I want? What's the dream? Because to get to the dream, I need to establish certain things. If for me, at the end of this year, I want to have made 3 million shillings, work backwards. What are the distractions for me getting the 3 million shillings? A borderman hissing at me, this one. Hey, so when they hiss, I won't look. My focus is I must get 3 million. It doesn't matter who's distracting me, that's where I'm going. And so I have no business stopping to shout at you because you said I am fat or I am too small. No, that's not my business.
Distraction.
My focus is I am hitting the target of 2 million. The other thing, invest in systems. Systems are different things. There are people, there are systems in terms of computer things and stuff. There are so many systems. Resources, invest in systems. Make friends who support the business. Pay your taxes, file returns, make sure everything is according to the book. That's how businesses thrive.
That's how business goes.
And keep growing the relationship. If you stop watering the plants, it will die. If you stop watering the relationship, the things you did when you invited people to your small business when you had only 100K, still do those things even when you have 1 million shillings. That's watering the relationship. That's watering the business to keep growing and to constantly be forward looking.
In most cases, because what you're saying is so true, like right now, when you come out, in most cases, and I speak quote unquote, and say I'm a feminist, right? The very first inclination that many men, and we've spoken to quite a few of them, have is that basically you don't even care about male engagement. You are there to cause divides. Which divide is I the woman, I am all that is needed. If you don't submit to my whims, right? Go to hell.
That's a lie, but
Yes,
keep going.
Yes, that's it. No, that's the idea, right? And that is why they keep saying these feminist fellows. I heard one say that, quote unquote, not my words. These feminist fellows make our women rebels. Okay? We are here to work together, men and women. When you get to meet a feminist, she's all one-sided, making me pay for the sins of my ancestors, right? And they don't want to know whether we have an amicable relationship with my spouse. That's a man. And I don't, and the funny thing is that the same sentiment sometimes is carried down, and they're wary, the women. Some women are wary as well of feminists, because they're saying this person is trying to put different ideas into my head and cook ideas that are not realistic, and I will lose my marriage. These are myths, it's not true to you. But this is the society we live in.
So first of all, it's okay to be a rebel. That's one. Because you said, what, these feminists are rebels, da, da, da.
Yes.
You need rebels for the revolution. So, just like people have holy anger,
yes,
it's okay to be angry, it's okay to be a rebel, it's okay to be all these things. Yeah? Number two, feminism in itself, by definition, is the radical notion that women are human beings. That's the definition of feminism.
It's a notion or a radical notion?
Feminism is the radical notion that women are human beings. Why is it radical? Because by the time I have to tell you that a woman is a human being, you need rebellion. If I have to tell it to you, if I have to.
You've forgotten it.
If people treated women as human beings, we wouldn't have the feminist theory. Because they don't, we radically, rebelliously, angrily have to teach them how to treat women as human beings. Now, let me explain further. When you say that, the reason why so many things are happening today is because there are people who don't believe women are deserving. Some people don't even think women should exist.
Capable.
No, listen, I'm breaking it down.
Okay.
You're not deserving. You shouldn't exist. You have no value to add except for sex and food. And so you're for reproduction, you're for nurturing and cooking and cleaning, and you cannot be anything beyond those two functions. Now, if I have to have a conversation with a person who thinks like that, there's a problem. There's a problem. Where do people get these ideas?
They are passed on from generation.
Where do you get the idea that a woman should be hidden? Those in the kitchen, you have nothing to say. You have no say. All of you who believe in marriage, how many of you had a say when your in-laws came to your parents' house? In fact, your mothers, some of you are in the kitchen hidden away. Those are not even in the conversation. They are debating
upon your life.
Who is taking you, how he's taking you, how much he's paying for you, and you're not even on the table. And feminism is saying, come on. If you're going to have a conversation about me, about my future with this person, about how many children I'm going to bear, about where I'm going to go, why am I not on the table having this conversation with you? Why is it some men that grew up in some village sitting in councils that I've never met saying, no, Doreen, they will give us 100 cows. Why?
And then splitting those 100 cows amongst them.
I don't care what you do with the cows. Get me in the room. It's my future we are debating. You're gambling with my life. I need to sit in the room and say, no, this is not going to happen. Because you know what? If you take this man's 100 cows, I will be in his home being property. Because he paid for me.
Yeah.
It's a transaction. This is a business transaction. You've given me money, I've given you the goods. Whatever I do with the goods is entirely up to me. And feminists are saying, no, this has got to stop. I started this conversation with saying we need to learn to see people. Not look, see. If men saw women, if they saw women's hurts, they would understand that it's in their best interests to have women on their side. Because any man who has a woman supporting them will thrive.
I tell you. And we keep preaching it.
So, and any woman who has a circle of women supporting her will thrive. The constant is women here. It's women. There's a lot to learn about women's support systems. If men understood that we are not enemies, I just need to understand that you see me, you see my dreams, that you don't just see me as a baby-making machine. No.
Talk about support systems. Because even as the moment you mentioned that, yes, it's a big, big thing. What's your support system? Because I know you've had those moments, apart from your family. Mm-hmm. Okay, inclusive. You've had those moments because this is a fight. Yes? Bringing down all these existing notions, all these existing beliefs. What keeps you going? What is your support system? Whereby sometimes you have burnout, you want to crash out, and this support system keeps you going. What is your support system?
What is not the question. Who is the question. And I am one of the very privileged people who, again, I said I exist in very many spaces, and I also exist as very many forms of me because I carry 1,000 gifts on the inside of me. And because I exist in these many spaces, my support system is varied. It's very many people. It's very many people.
And they pour into you.
And they all know when to pour, because I am also aware that it's a two-way thing. Yeah. You pour into me, I pour into you, we pour across, because that's mentorship, right? It's I lead up, I lead down, and I lead across. And so at different places, I have young people pouring into me, I have young people I am pouring into. I have older women that pour into me, I have older women that are pouring into me. I have peers at the same level as I am who pour into me, and I am pouring into them. So it's a constant cycle of support, and the support does not stop. I just need to know, like my phone, that I need to dial this number today. That's what I need. I am sad, now I can call Angela. I am happy, let me call Nora. I need just to be stupid, let me call this one. I need to just let me call this one. I need to quarrel, let me call this person. There are constant shifts in how my support system works, but at the core of it all is people who see me for who I am, not the titles that I carry, not the things that I believe in, not the many gifts that I have. People who see penny for penny.
What has been your standout moment ever since you were here right now at Femfort? And I mean one standout moment that keeps you going. I know you'll say something about I believe in women. So each person who comes in and is surrounding me and my support, those are the people that keep me going. Mm-hmm. So let's focus on the other part. That particular challenge where you felt like, you know what, this is hard. Do you have a moment like that?
Every day. Even right now, I'm saying this is hard.
Are you serious?
Hard. Yeah, every time.
Scrap that.
But it is hard. You're asking me questions about my life to tell strangers things. Of course it's hard.
You're naturally a conservative person, right?
I am not a conservative person, contrary to popular belief, really. But look, life is hard. Yeah. As it is. And every moment, all that KB of life is what you make it is just vibes. But life is generally hard.
Yes.
Life is hard.
Okay.
Because every moment you're alive, you're making a decision that is either good or bad. You're making a choice to live or die. You're making a choice to add value or kill. You're like,
there's
constantly something, and that is hard. It's not easy. It's not easy. And so I can tell you a list of many problems that have made me think that, oh my God, we should close this organization and move on. But that's not it. I think when you say what keeps me going is that I don't have the luxury to fail. I can't afford it.
To even think.
Because if I close and fail, how many people that benefit from Farmfort will be affected by my decision to fail in that moment?
Yeah.
And I can't afford it.
You can't afford
I can't. It's not about them. It's mostly about I made a commitment. I made a commitment that I was going to pour my whole being into this thing. And as long as God gives me breath, I will do it.
I love getting to talk to women. Mm-hmm. You know? Each conversation that we hold, you said it was hard. Sometimes you get to talk sometimes and you listen to someone talk and each conversation inspires, mm-hmm. you know? And the other times when you get to talk to someone and you're like, oh my goodness, why didn't I think about that? Mm-hmm. Then the other times when you get to talk to another person and basically you live with holy anger mm-hmm. because this person has gone through so much, but guess what? They're still standing. Mm-hmm. I want you to take a moment, just 1 quick minute, mm-hmm. and say something that you know that woman out there watching you should benefit from. Just wrap it up. Just say something. In 1 minute, Penny.
We should all be feminists. That's it. We should all be feminists. That's it. Like, if you're not a feminist, what are you, honestly? If you don't believe that women are human beings, what are you? What are you? What's the option? What's the alternative? There's nothing else.
Believe in yourself.
Just believe that women are human beings and work at being a decent human being that helps other human beings thrive. It's that simple. See people, stop for them, encourage them, support their businesses, talk about them, love them. Like, just be a decent human being. Just be a decent human being. Everyone on this earth needs kindness. Be a decent human being. Be kind. Be kind. Be kind. Express love. Be a feminist. Yeah.
I think, to me, every time I have these conversations with many different women in different spaces, I always learn something new. And when I say that, I'm inspired. And basically why we are having this particular conversation is because we've had so many different conversations prior to this, and each person will keep telling you, you know what, the ABC happens, whatever it is, I have to fight with this, I have to deal with this. The reality about it is sometimes you have to just have your mindset on track, mm-hmm. right? Mm-hmm. You just have to get into it knowing that you are fearfully and wonderfully made. You are mm-hmm. also meant to stand out. Yes, you are able to deal with whatever is in front of you. And if you do have systems to challenge, please do. Mm-hmm. Because those particular systems will always stand in your way if you don't challenge them. Mm-hmm. This is yet another episode of Women in Business. Please pick a thing, learn something new, and
be a feminist.
You are. Be all you are and can be and keep shining. This has been Doris Kemcha, Women in Business on Smart 24 TV, and we were delighted to have Penny from Farmfort. See you next time, and bye-bye.